morning from New York. Well, today's subject, intermind communication. Why spiritual but not religious? Comfort without progress. Well, in order to address that, you would have to agree on what religion is. Religion is a highly symbolic presentation of mythological sorts of concepts, and usually involving rituals of various kinds. But rituals can have a certain amount of value. So, just how religious should we be? Well, what of the problem of religion is that it locks us into the idea that we've arrived, that we know everything there is to know, and we've done all the growing that we can. And if I haven't grown, then by golly, there's a ritual for that. Yeah, rituals. Not exactly something that's going to get you anywhere, but they are comforting. And who can deny somebody a little comfort? But the problem with religion is that what comforts one doesn't comfort the other in terms of different religions. So, not when you add a survival intensity to that comfort. It's like, you won't be saved unless you do this ritual, which oftentimes is just a phrase that you say, or something, in many cases, something to do with water. Sprinkle some water, dunk in some water, jump in the Ganges. Very polluted river nowadays. But, or it was, last I heard about it. Anyway, so, yeah, so you get your comfort. And you get this comfort that says, you've done all that you're supposed to do. You've done what you're supposed to do with water and symbols and things like that. That keep hanging around the office or my home. And there's power in those things. Power. Of course, there's no evidence for that. But, people are comforted by it. Oh, then what's wrong with comfort? Again, what comforts one? Anyway, if you're saying some words that are charged, like, are you saved? You're also talking about some horrible thing that's going to happen if you're not saved. And each religion has its way of saying whether you're saved or not. Well, spiritual but not religious means the question is, are you growing or not? Are you becoming a better person? Or if you've arrived, then what are you doing for the world? That's the different kind of question that comes to play when you push religion aside. And I would have to say that uh, it just how many people don't go to church because they'll say, oh, they're all hypocrites. Well, spiritual but not religious isn't going to stop you, people from being hypocritical, but it's a step in the right direction. At least, because nobody's perfect, But, so the question is, are you growing, so that you can't say, well, I don't want to be in this group because, they haven't arrived, That's the religious view. Whereas the spiritual view is, are they growing? Are people getting benefit? Are they becoming more a force for good in the world? I'm looking at myself when I'm doing this, and it's really strange what you see. I see, you notice the lips? There's a lack of symmetry there I would be better off in comedy maybe than this. Anyway, thanks for paying attention anyway. If I had a pretty face to do this, I would let them do it. You know what I'm saying? A good looking face. In case of a dude. Yeah, you gotta say those things differently. Anyway, yeah. See, this is live. This is what you get, It's not canned, it's not perfect, it's not touched up, it's just me doing a boomer video. But, yeah, so what do you do with religion? Well, try to be a little less into rituals and you can turn practices into nothing but a ritual. You can turn inner mind communication into a ritual. Yeah, if that's the only thing you do. To be spiritual and not religious, you need to be involved in life. With your inner communication, certainly you need that. That's inner mind communication, but there's an outer mind communication. You have to be active in society. So the spiritual person is a progressive person trying to make the world and themselves a little bit better, just a little bit better. They don't walk around trying to say, I've arrived, follow me. They say, well, I've been to the mountain and I've seen wonderful things. Here's the way I got up the mountain, and you try it. You try it. See what you see. That's a whole lot different than see it my way. That's the religious thing. See it my way. Or you're just not seeing. Really? Yeah, we're all individuals. And that individuality is valuable. you need more than one perspective in the world. So, follow the leader is a big thing with religion. The big audacious sorts of titles. Even my Buddhist teacher was the Honorable Venerable Doctor. Really? Pretty humble guy. I mean, that was just his culture, so that's what they laid on him. But you don't really need that stuff, if you're a spokesperson for the group, just say that, If you're into pastoral care, I don't know, maybe the term pastor isn't so bad, but I think of pastor, I think of a pasture, and I think of sheep, and so I really don't like that name. It's, bah. But I'm a bit of a clown. I just can't help it. With a face like this, what are you going to do? You got to fulfill your inherent destiny. Okay, but I'm not a very good comedian. It's darn. But yeah, and there's the thing. Nobody's perfect, and you shouldn't demand that of yourself. And where religion goes wrong is where it puts punishment first and judgment first, and that's a real problem. It's just the opposite of what you need to do, of what you need to ask of others. There's a process of healing from damaged faith and love, which is the source of the bad behaviors, unless it's, biochemical damage to the brain. It's, the average normal individual, who suffered the traumas of life. It's about healing that damaged faith and love. That's the only thing that you could say is pastoral care, so to speak. A lot of people refer to that way. But running away, saying 6 Hail Marys in punishment is that's not going to make you a better person. It can comfort you. Oh, I feel bad because I did this bad thing, and now I feel better about that. Comfort without progress. But what we need is, a little bit look into the mirror and see yourself. The gift to see ourselves as others see us. And to get that, you have to talk to other people, but to some degree. But you can also augment that with taking that perspective. And I think the other problem with religion is the accumulation of influence and power that shouldn't be there. And trust, you just the automatic, the honorable, venerable, I can trust that person. There are people who go through college learning what to think, but not how to think. And do I think of them as an authority? Not so much. give me somebody who learned how to think. And I think, well, I would trust that individual a lot more than just someone who memorized some material. Not that that's not important. Without memory, there's no learning. There's no, but you need the skill of being able to think. And this is what is the spiritual approach when you ditch the religious ritual and the punishing attitudes and nonsense, then you are left with something more real, increasing your objectivity, your creativity, and your compassion. Now, how isn't that just a good idea? And the more this kind of communication takes place, not just in words but in deeds, then trust grows. And in that area of trust, we find an area of agreement. You know, you don't generally see two scientists trying to kill one another over a difference of opinion. It's just, as they show me the data, you know. So, I mean, so you don't, there you go, even with politics, I mean, come on. So Jesus said it, it's like you don't, more or less, he said, you don't pick grapes from thorn bushes, it's, this Trump fellow, oh my gosh, the man needs help. Instead of getting help, he's found a way to dodge that by getting followers. Yeah. It's kind of seeming easy nowadays to find lots of followers. Be wary if you've got a lot of followers, and if you've got something valuable and that's why they're following you, then be a little bit suspicious about your process. If nobody is skilled as you are, differently skilled in a valuable way as a result of that process, or they are your leadership. The first thing is that a true leader needs to do is to replace themselves. Make it so that it doesn't matter whether they show up or not. There's 6 or 7 other people that he's led that are ready to lead. And does you think that might help democracy? A heck of a lot. A heck of a lot. And religion gets in the way. It's kind of rigor mortis gets set up. Just a lifeless kind of symbolic rut that you get stuck in with religion. I was stuck in that. This water baptism thing, I must have been baptized, I don't know how many times. I was trying to be a better person, and it didn't work. I just got wet. But I got wet in a lot of different ways. I'm stuck in a rut, thinking a ritual was going to take care of making me a better person. Well, it didn't. A lot of things didn't. saying a phrase over, you know, I accept Buddha in my life, Jesus in my life, it's a ritual. It's just something that you mouth, but not something that impacts you. How does that impact you that much? You're expressing some kind of trust, and you're using a name. Well, what's behind the name? If I go and I tell somebody, well, I'm following Buddha. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it might actually mean that I'm following writings that may or may not have been inspired or written by Buddha. Or Jesus, or Muhammad, may peace be upon him, etc., etc. Somebody said, religion locks you into believing that you're following a reality that's perfect. And really, when you're looking for the substance behind the names, you come up with books. Books that contain some really good stuff, and oftentimes some really bad stuff. And thinking people, they just turn against religion altogether because of that. And can't blame them. But, when you turn against something, consider turning towards something better. That better is spiritual growth. What's behind that statement? Practices that help you with being more compassionate, more objective, and more creative. Boom, you can study that. You can look at that. It has reality teeth. Losing a lot of those. Anyway, reality. What's the reality? What's the actual experience? Here's a mountain, and people can helicopter up or whatever. They can plant them there, or they can climb up there. It doesn't matter how they got there. They can have a view from the mountain. Well, other than taking pictures from up there, it's very hard for somebody else to have that view just from your description. A picture is worth many words. But, it's going to a certain destination in terms of achievement that you can show some evidence for. If you're talking to a scientist, they have positions and they can support them. And you can, it's an open book, if you can understand the lingo, you've had enough training, you can take a look at what they're saying and you can make a judgment. And so names and who you're following and what you're following. Where's the substance behind it? Where's the real path to change? You got to be more of a scientist in that regard. So, the more of a scientist you are, the more spiritual, the more you would choose spiritual over just religion. Spiritual is impacting But again, it would be just a word unless you define it. You know, the people that argue about the word God. Well, what does it mean? If it just means a cross on the wall and something that comforts you, well, okay. Where's the reality? Where's the reality there? And wouldn't that just be what the Christians would call idol worship? Just worshiping a name. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. How is that making you a better person? Religion just doesn't hold up to careful scrutiny. And the world's realizing that. And the trouble is that when they realize that, they give up on church altogether, or temple altogether. I mean, no gathering anymore. No extended family. When you can't, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You got to, well, that's an old phrase. I wonder how old. Anyway, probably even older than me. But, yeah, so these are perspectives on why we need to be more spiritual and less religious. Example of spiritual but not religious is when the religions cooperate to get something good done. And then when they're doing that, I mean, what's the difference between a doctor that's working under the Red Crescent and the one working under the Red Cross? It's a doctor. And the intent is caring. Either way is fine. And since either way is fine, then, well, I don't know. What is the importance of having the cross or the crescent? Maybe nothing, except as the statement about this particular institution is the ones that hired the doctor. How did they treat the doctor? So that's what you should look into, and not just buy the organization because of the picture or symbol. It's kind of hard to argue against the spiritual but not religious point of view, because it's about, if you define spirituality as greater empathy, objective, creative, compassion, and growing trust. And that you see there was common ground there where the religions work together. Common ground. Well, seek that common ground. That's a nice beginning. Seek that common ground, and pretty soon the common ground is going to be the platform from which everything works. Or doesn't, but can be improved. So, yeah, that's how we grow. We find the common ground when we start from, where we're comfortable. But to challenge that comfort, how do you challenge it? Objectivity, creativity, compassion. These are good ways. So, I don't know, I just turn on the camera and talk to you, kind of like an old grandpa, just to let you know what he thinks. Yeah. And for my brothers and sisters out there who are as full grown up as I am, what's your job now? Are you going to run away to Florida? Try to act like you're 20 again? Or are you going to become a mentor? Well, I don't have a profession or whatever. You have stories. You have stories to tell, whatever valuable. Story of your life. And your family needs to hear those. And other families need to hear those. I mean, come on. You're 70 like me. You've got a lot of stories to tell, at least. So in that way, you are leaders in society. You have the time to devote towards serving humanity in so many cases. If you don't, you don't. But to whatever degree. And when you're finding common ground in religion, you are becoming more spiritual and less religious. You're going, well, maybe it doesn't matter whether I got dumped in the water or not. Maybe it doesn't matter what phrase I used. To be saved, and beware of people trying to get you to agree with them by frightening you. It's this way, and everything will be peaceful and good for you. Your destiny is assured. No growth required, no progress. You made it. Or you don't agree with me, and you're going to a terrible place. Or maybe future lives that are horrific. That's called manipulation. Be wary of anger and fear. People work you up to a fever pitch with anger and fear. That's something to be wary about. Be careful. Look out for those charged words, especially the ones that save you, because what matters is, are you growing? Are you getting better? Are you part of the love flow in life? Or are you trying to be? That's what matters. And that's spiritual, but not religious. So, agree or disagree? Agree partially. Disagree partially. There's always a thumbs up and a thumbs down, but there's not a thumbs right, thumbs left, like something like kind of sort of good, kind of sort of bad. There's a whole range in there. Partially agree, thumbs up and a thumbs down. They don't give you that option, do they? Because they want you to be battling each other. I'm right and you're wrong. I'll prove it to you. Let's see. Do you have a cross on the wall? Is there a Buddha statue in your apartment? Then you might be right. You might be wrong. Ooh. Religion. Be spiritual. Help the love flow. As I like to say at the end of my rather poorly done videos, but from the heart, namaste, which means may all that's good and wonderful and connected to the universe and all the potential of love in me that's in you also that unites us together, may that perspective in me honor that perspective in you, and may we all grow together. Namaste.